Good evening, ladies and gents. Hope you're all well. And what you're going to see is very much in the style of here's one I prepared earlier. The summer church. You've seen the winter church of St Paul's down in West Wycombe village on the High Street. And this is the summer church, the original church. This church here, medieval in origin. The medieval church served the lost medieval village of Haveringdon. And of this building, the 14th century chancel and tower remain. Have a good night, both. Take care. Though heavily remodelled. The Grade 1 listed church was gradually rebuilt in its current form by Sir Francis Dashwood, 1st Baron and Baron Le Despencer in the 1750s. The medieval West Tower was raised to make an eye-catcher from West Wycombe Estate, West Wycombe House. Also from the West Wycombe Road, as one exits towards the west, it was topped by a great golden ball, possibly inspired by the Dogana in Venice. The ball was reputed to be a meeting place for the Hellfire Club. It could seat 10 and was described by the author John Wilkes as the best Globe tavern I was ever in. It has been suggested that Sir Francis Dashwood used a heliograph to signal through a porthole in the Golden Ball to his friend John Norris, 1721 to 1786, who had erected a tower known as the Camberley Obelisk near his home in Hawley, Hampshire, 21 miles to the south. Between 1761 and 1763, the nave was rebuilt and the medieval chancel was remodelled. The nave was remodelled by Dashwood. The nave that was remodelled by Dashwood has the appearance of a very superb Egyptian hall. In a Virtuan sense, it is derived from Robert Wood's prints of the ancient Temple of the Sun in Palmyra. It has 5 bays and is lined with engaged Corinthian columns and a continuous entablature. The pillars decorated emulate prophecy. The architect of all this work is likely to have been John Donowell, who was working for Sir Francis Dashwood at West Wycombe Park. And Mr. Borgins, who you'll see at the end of the video, he did the painting inside this one, as well as the painting in West Wycombe Park, in the house. If you've seen that, or watched it, when we walk around outside in the grand entranceway and see all that lovely painting, that's his work. So the tower up to there is medieval, but of course restructured to take the ball on top. We'll have a little walk around its exterior. There'll be a paranormal hunt from the churchyard here as well tonight, if that's your cup of tea. It's a beautiful old church, isn't it, eh? And here is its other surviving medieval part, its chancel. Restructured, of course, but still there nonetheless. The burials in this section are a mixture of quite old and very new. We're talking late 90s and that, and I never cover anything like that without the family's consent. If you're into the churchyard tours, there is a churchyard tour of this one. There are some interesting people buried in here as well. There's a man who founded a very good little organisation, or charitable organisation, called A Bird in a Hand, a Sunday school for poor children, and did an awful lot. And there you see the mausoleum of the man that built all this. And he overlooks his home, West Wycombe Park, from there. Although this is just a memorial, many people think the Dashwoods are buried in here. They're not. They're buried in vaults inside the church. There are Commonwealth war graves here as well. Quite a few of them. A mixture of First and Second World War. And talking of which, take you over to the memorial to some of our brave heroes of both wars. You will see their names inside the church. And this one was very special. Very, very special. One, because I've wanted to see inside this one since I first laid eyes on it. Two, there was a rehearsal. The local choir were rehearsing. Oh, beautiful. And when I first went in, a lady was playing what sounded very much like Italian or Italianate or Spanish kind of music, which for the exotic interior of the church fitted it very well. Then we go into the singing, and well, it's very beautiful. That's all I can say. And here is the memorial to those men of the First World War and the Second World War. And this is the view that they have. Everything they fought for. We will see their names and pay our respects inside the church. We'll get a little view of the church from this side. Then we should go back on ourselves. Now that is a beautiful church, isn't it, eh? Very different. When you look at it outside and you go in, you really do think that you could have been like dragged into Italy or Spain or somewhere like that. This path takes you one of two routes. The one straight in front of us, straight down the hill towards Church Lane, and this one here towards the Dashwoods. I've done a comprehensive history on this mausoleum and some of its residents. See how beautifully lit at night it is. Say residents, some of those commemorated here, because people are not buried here. If you're into the paranormal and history, this one mingles the two, and my goodness, it was very active. Even before we started, I was accompanied with a friend I've made down here. Just as I was going to take some photos, just as I pushed the button to take the picture, I saw on my screen two orbs, and just as that happened, we both heard a woman go, mm-hmm. Well, James absolutely bricked it, and he admitted that much this morning. He went, yeah, he went, I wasn't cold, he went, it just terrified me. He went, put the fear of God into me. He went, that wasn't normal. I said, well, that's what we're up here for, mate. He went, I know. And these bright buzzing lights are what light the Dashwood mausoleum up. And one might think that this remains lit all night. Oh no, 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 no. 12 o'clock these lights go out. They're energy efficient in Buckinghamshire. The history I've done on this for my paranormal thing, I will probably tag on to the churchyard tour. And that's his estate just there. So basically their place of commemoration looks out onto everything they owned. And still do. The Dashwoods are still an influential family in this area, and they do some good works as well. So we've lost a couple of them as war heroes, and a couple of them have served the country too, so fair play when the heir to a baron goes and signs up and loses his life fighting for his country. That is what you call a man. And we walk round this slightly dark little way. Put my flash on. It helps with the picture. I can see pretty well, but and be careful along here if anyone visits. There are hidden tree stumps that will trip you over at night, so torches on phones or torches are imperative. If you get stuck here, look like this, if you get stuck up here when it's dark, please have torches on you, because it is actually quite dangerous. It's such a steep hill. Walking down it in the daytime, you've got to be careful. And what we're just walking along now was the original track up to the church in medieval times. It wasn't until 1928 that a road was built to this church, the car park of which is through there, which more or less marks the guesstimated area of the lost village of Haveringdon. That will be covered with a Paranormal Live as well. So, as I say, here's one I prepared earlier. Join me inside. Well, waited quite some time to get into that one. Hope you all enjoyed. And now for the bits we weren't able to see on the video tour. For various security reasons, I was asked not to video beyond the point of the altar rail, which is fair enough given those reasons. So that's what we're going to see now. Just some of the pictures I was allowed to take. Of course, a little glimpse at the father and son, without whom the man on the right, the church that we see now today, really wouldn't exist. The Dashwood Memorial to Sir Francis Dashwood and his wives. A slightly different angle. One of the other Sir Francis Dashwood memorials. There are several to the man, of course. This is Sir Francis of Hellfire Club fame that we're talking about. Another Dashwood, Sir John Dashwood King, Baronet, and his wife Dame Sarah, and their children. And the man who gave his life in the war, I did say, didn't I, in the paranormal one, in the intro to the Dashwood Mausoleum, that you would see his stone a few years ago when it looked in slightly better condition. Obviously the weather's had a bad effect on it. Robert Henry Lindsay Dashwood, who was killed in the First World War. Here is the man himself. And here is his memorial inside the church. This is a lovely painting that I couldn't quite capture in the video very well without going beyond the gate, but I was allowed to photograph it. It's the Last Supper, and this is what looks down on the Dashwoods. And the font. This is the font that you see in the church now, of course put in place when the church was rebuilt in the 1700s, paid for, of course, by Lord Dashwood, but you may wonder what happened to the previous font. And here it is at West Wycombe Park. It was taken obviously by Lord Dashwood and put on display in the parkland right by his home. Literally, you can walk from the front door to this within a minute or less. And here it is. It does make you wonder if this font had some special connection to him, maybe family being christened in it and things like that. He wanted it kept. Didn't fit in with the new church, maybe, who knows, but either way the church ended up with a brand new font and Lord Dashwood ended up with the old one. And now for historical images. Our earliest one, 1906, and you see it from the crossroads here, the church and the mausoleum up on its hill. Over to the far right, there's a little girl in a straw hat just making her way along the road. 1913, our next image, 1 year before the First World War, and if you look to the bottom of the tower, over to the left of it, you can see, still in place, gone now, the sexton's little shed area. This one's just after the First World War, and you can see that several new gravestones have gone in place, a couple of which do commemorate First World War men. Interior of the church, early 20th century, not certain on the exact date. Same as this one. This one was dated 1930s and shows the interior, looking down from the altar towards the entrance door on the organ. Circa 1945, and note the sphere up on the top. If you have a close look, you can see boys very intrepidly climbing up into it, and one of the lads, who intends to obviously climb up into it, is standing right in the foreground here with a rope round his shoulder, There was no health and safety in those days, and apparently I'm told the old vicar was very easygoing. If people wanted to see inside the Golden Ball, they were allowed to. Sadly, it was vandalised and is closed to the public now. Here you see those lads in 1945. I love this image, it's great. 1945 again, and here you see the Golden Ball can be seen for miles around. It's a recognisable symbol of West Wycombe village and is made from a wooden frame covered in gold leaf, 8 feet in diameter, and contains seating for up to 6 people. Circa 1945. It got sadly no longer open to the public due to vandalism, and there's 2 men inside there playing cards. A picture taken from the Golden Ball or from the church tower, looking right down at the Dashwood Mausoleum and West Wycombe village and the beautiful countryside all around. 1955 for this image, looking at the beautiful church of St Lawrence from its churchyard. At the back you can see the altar window there over to the left. Hasn't really changed all that much. 1968 this, and it's viewed from down at the bottom of the hill. And that concludes our tour of the Church of St Lawrence, the summer church. Hope you've all enjoyed, and thanks for watching.